I'm Jeff Matlow. Welcome to the best leadership podcast ever. Welcome back to the pod. I love this time we have together. I really do. It gives us an opportunity to communicate, to understand each other, to know what we each think. And in fact, today we're going to talk about communication problems. Because whatever your question is, the answer is better communication. And that's the answer for most workplace problems. In fact, 86% of all failures at work are because of communication problems. Crazy, right? I know. Now, before you turn this off, hold on for a second. You probably think I'm about to give you the same old lecture about the importance of transparency and active listening. I'm not going to. I'm not going to pretend that a simple podcast is going to have any lasting impact on your communication skills. It won't. In order to do that, you need a coach. Turns out I'm one, but that's not why I'm here. So instead of talking about your communication behavior, today we're going to talk about your communication processes. Because if you're anything like the companies I work with, you've got a wee bit of work to do in that arena. If you know me, my articles, or if you listen to any of my other podcasts, you've no doubt heard me talk about how a company's leadership behavior is inextricably linked to the products and processes the company has. Your current business processes are a direct result of your leadership behavior. This is actually known as Conway's Law, and it's a real thing. You can read it at the link in the comments below. So if you want to improve a team's behavior, you also have to improve their processes, or nothing's going to change. You can't expect to improve your company's communication problems without changing the company's communication processes. No matter how amazing you think you are at communicating, ineffective processes will decrease morale, they'll destroy productivity, and kill your company culture. When people are having productivity problems with their teams, they usually hire me. That's my job. So I see this situation a lot. Sometimes the problem is behavior related, sometimes it's a process problem, usually it's both. Every now and then, I'm brought in by a leadership team that has pretty decent communication skills, but really crappy communication processes. In other words, their teams are respectful of each other, they're open to different ideas, and they focus on growth. But the method in which they communicate is completely broken. Is your company the same? It might be. Here's how to tell. First, are you continually late on delivering interdepartmental projects? Secondly, is there a huge gap in alignment between department leaders? If your answer to either of these is yes, you probably have a problem with your communication processes. As I said, I'm paid to fix these, but because I like you and because you showed up here, I'm going to give you a simple solution for the low, low price of free. Who loves you, babe? It's easy to communicate when you got a team of 2. It's not even that hard with a team of 10. But once you get beyond a team of 25 employees, things begin to become a little bit more complicated. Suddenly there's hierarchy, there are strategic leaders, there's hands-on doers. There are people who have different ideas of how to do their different jobs, and they all want to feel empowered to do it their own way. So without conscious guidance, communication can become a chaotic free-for-all. You're going to have some people who rely on Slack or Teams, Zoom, Google, email, or text. And there are those who want to use telephone, or some who always want to meet in person. Plus the CRMs, bug tracking, and project management platforms that have become required tools for certain departments. And then there are the lock-lip few who just want to do their work and not talk to anybody at all, ever. What happens when communication is spread across so many channels is communication problems. How many times have you sworn you sent out an email or a notification, but you just can't remember what damn platform you sent it on? I've been there. I see you. When there's so many ways to communicate, it's sometimes easier not to communicate at all. And that's the problem. Most companies have the resources and ability to communicate, they just don't have the processes to do it efficiently. Do you wonder if your company has poor communication processes? Here's another test. Ask 5 employees at different levels how they communicate when they have to alert others to a time-sensitive topic. If they all answer differently, or if their answers start with the words, "it depends," then your company's got communication problems. There's an easy solution, though. Here it is. The best communicating companies are the ones with clear communication protocols. And your protocols start by answering 7 questions. Here are the 7 questions. Number 1, what are the different types of communication that happen at our company? Number 2, what is the primary platform to be used for most, if not all, of those communication types? Number 3, what are the other communication platforms used for? Number 4, what are the expected response times for each type of communication? Number 5, how do you communicate if there's something urgent? Number 6, what system do you use for difficult conversations? And number 7, what system do you use for brainstorms? Now, this may sound daunting. It may sound like I'm asking you to remember a complex flowchart. I'm not. It's actually not that hard. Because once you answer the questions above, you're going to realize it's not complicated at all. And by the way, if you didn't write these down, go to the comments below and you'll see the link to thebestleadershipnewsletter.com, and you can find these questions there. Now, the first task in solving your communication problems is to create that list of different types of communication you have at your company. The list may include things like casual or team banter, internal project updates, external client updates, cross-departmental decisions, technology errors, technology feedback, difficult conversations, time-sensitive needs, and you probably have 1 or 2 others. So once you've outlined the types of conversations, the next step is to choose the channels of communication for each of them. And as a hint, your primary channel should remain as consistent as possible across the conversation types. And it should be able to integrate with your other communication platforms. This is why most companies use Slack or Teams as their primary channel. For instance, async updates, this includes casual banter, project updates, client updates. This can be done in Slack or Teams. Project planning is probably going to be done in a project planning system like Monday or Notion or Asana, but have Slack linked to the doc, have a channel for that project. Similarly, critical decisions, the primary channel can be email, secondary can be a follow-up in Slack. You get the idea. Again, link below, you'll be able to see a chart where I outline all these types of communications and suggested channels. And once you have those types of conversations and the channels to use, you just need to set a response time. For instance, what I've done in my past company is all Slack messages need to be answered within 4 business hours. Emails within 1 business day. Calls need to be answered the same day, and text in 1 hour or less, but only if it's something that's on fire, like metaphorically or literally. Otherwise, 1 business day is fine. And incidentally, a response is different than a resolution. A response may just mean acknowledging the communication. It may just mean saying something like, "I got your message. Sorry, I'm crushed with a deadline. I'll respond tomorrow." Getting the protocol in place is critical to scale your company and your department and improve communication. But creating the protocol isn't enough because you have to implement it. So make it part of the onboarding process, reinforce it in team meetings, and the leaders have to strictly enforce the model. So when somebody doesn't answer in a thread in Slack, you need to make them use the thread. In fact, here's an idea that seems to work. When you break communication down into the platforms of what should be talked about where, include not only when to use this platform, but when not to use it. In the end, if your communication process is a mess, your culture will eventually be too. Not because your people don't care, not because your team isn't talented, but because they're getting too frustrated with inconsistencies in communication and wondering why they can't just get the damn answer to the quick question that nobody is answering. And now the project is delayed. It doesn't matter how inspiring your all-hands meeting was or the assortment of snacks you have in the kitchen. If no one knows where, how, or when to talk with each other, things are going to fall apart. So here's my challenge to you. Build the protocol, teach the protocol, and follow the damn protocol. Because it's not just about what you say, it's about how and where you say it. If this resonates with you and you want help with it, reach out to me. My contact information is in the comments below. Check out thebestleadershipnewsletter.com and join our community over there. I'd love to talk to you. I have office hours too, so we can chat one-on-one. I look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great one. Bye.